Welcome to today's Innovation Demo Day. We are so excited to highlight some innovative solutions to reducing food waste. I'm joined by Mike Wolf, the CEO and founder of The Spoon. The Spoon is our partner for today's event and provides awesome daily reporting and insights on all things related to food and food tech. We'll also be hearing from speakers from Hitchpin, Store It Cold, Strela Biotechnologies, and Full Harvest. And so I'll quickly provide some context about today's topic, and then I'll hand it over to Mike so that he can dive right into the demo presentations and Q&A portions of today's event. So ReFED's roadmap to 2030 and our insights engine outline 7 key action areas shown on the current slide. Today we'll be doing a deep dive segment into the early supply stage solutions, primarily under the Optimize the Harvest and Enhanced Product Distribution key action areas. But similarity for everyone under that Optimize the Harvest. So when we say Optimize the Harvest, what we mean is aligning what is grown with what is ultimately harvested by avoiding overproduction and then harvesting as much as possible that's grown in the field. So you may or may not know that our insights engine analysis shows that most surplus food is still happening in the household, but the second highest sector for surplus is actually happening on farm, with nearly 21% of all uneaten food occurring on farms, and that's just counting produce. So implementing solutions to reduce surplus produce could cut that amount each year by 3.7 million tons. It could save nearly 500,000 metric tons of greenhouse gases and save approximately 112 billion gallons of water. And that this results in an annual net financial benefit of approximately 8 billion. So today we have a special opportunity to speak with innovators from the 4 organizations that we mentioned earlier, who will share more about their technologies and products that help food producers manage their food surplus. We'll also have a chance to ask some questions of each of these speakers after each of their presentations. So I do encourage folks in the audience today to send through their questions through the chat function. And finally, if you'd like to get in touch with any of the presenters today, please do send me an email. You can get connected with me at lily.hurd@refed.org, and I will go ahead and connect you. And now I would love to introduce you to one of my absolute favorite people in the world to work with, Mike Wolf. Mike is the CEO and founder at The Spoon, a leading publication focused on the future of food and food tech. He has hosted the Smart Kitchen Summit annually since 2015 and truly has one of the coolest jobs in the world, getting to travel and speak with innovators in the food space. So aside from all of his accolades, which are impressive, he's a super fun and kind human that I feel very lucky to get to work alongside. So with that, I'll turn the hosting duties over to Mike, and let's get the show started.
Thank you, Lily. The feeling is mutual, and that was really nice of you to say all those really complimentary things. Let's get started. As you probably heard a few times by now, both today and in your work, there is no one solution that is going to keep food from being wasted at all points along the supply chain. Each sector requires innovative solutions that are tailored to the specific challenges and needs that they face. And so today we're going to hear from 4 companies that are reducing the amount of food that is being wasted, and they're doing it in completely different ways. As you hear from our presenters today, I want to remind everyone on the webinar today that you can send questions via chat, and we will do our best to respond to as many as possible during the presentations. In addition, if you're interested in setting up a meeting, as Lily said, comment or contact her via her email, lily.hurd@refed.org. And that's it. Let's get started with the demos. And so first up, I'm excited to introduce to you Trevor McKeeman, the CEO and founder of Hitchpin, an all-ag digital marketplace with over 63,000 users across the country. Hitchpin has gained this impressive traction by harnessing the ease of online posting with the power of secure payments to give producers and ag business owners control and convenience when it comes to time to buy and sell agricultural products and services. And so with that, we'll play the Hitchpin demo video, and then we'll bring Trevor on to the stage to answer a few questions.
Hello, my name is Trevor McKeeman. I'm the founder and CEO of Hitchpin. Hitchpin is a digital marketplace in the ag and the food industry that connects buyers and sellers. So first of all, I really want to thank ReFED for the opportunity to be here today. Hitchpin believes that the people behind our food matter. And so I love this topic. I love the idea of bringing together innovators and capital, policymakers, and really trying to think, how do we build a better food system? So first, I'll set the stage. I think 2023 is going to be seen as a pivotal year. We've had a pandemic and a war in Ukraine, but if you really look at the math, we're going to see supply chain shocks for the next couple decades. We've got to increase food production by 70% in order to feed 10 billion people. This really represents one of the greatest challenges that humans will face. With that challenge also comes opportunity. And I do believe that the ag and the food supply chain will receive more investment and more innovation over the next few years than about any other industry. This is going to be a huge opportunity, not only for financial reasons, but also to create a better food future for all of us. This is exactly what our team thinks about every day. They come from deep ag backgrounds. They come from deep technology backgrounds, and they're really out to solve major challenges. A couple quick things about our management team. Again, a lot of agriculture and technology backgrounds. Our VP of operations came from a successful exit of a marketplace, a $425 million marketplace exit. Our head of product came from an IPO'd fintech. Our chief engagement officer has deep fundraising and ag background. Hitchpin is my third technology company, so it's not my first rodeo building these things. And my background really includes commercializing innovation, getting that out into the marketplace, ag policy work. And we really started studying marketplaces at MIT, and I kept thinking, why hasn't this occurred in agriculture, just like it's happened in lodging and transportation and other industries? And the reason for that is the complexity of agriculture. So the solution, at its core, no producer likes waste in the system. That's extra energy, it's extra water, it's extra time spent away from their family. So nobody wants waste in the system. And really what waste is, again, at the core, is a local mismatch of supply and demand. So this is an industry that's been largely based on the telephone and word of mouth. And so our ability to connect buyers and sellers digitally in a much faster way really allows for that waste reduction. So we've had transactions as close as 7 miles, meaning one buyer and seller didn't know that a neighbor was selling something. And we've had transactions 1,000 miles apart, meaning the buyer and seller would have never met without a digital marketplace. So being able to connect those buyers and sellers just by default is reducing waste in the system. I'll show you a quick video now, kind of a summary of Hitchpin. Besides connecting buyers and sellers, a really important aspect of this is also the payment processing. So streamlining that and modernizing this quick payments is just really a game changer in the food space. So we'll play this video. So Hitchpin has already got really significant traction. We started in the center part of the country and grew to the coast very quickly, and now the density of supply and demand is expanding. We have over 63,000 producers on the app. They've listed over 133 million in just products alone in 49 states. We've had successful funding rounds, and we're actually in the process of our new funding round that for accredited investors that is really targeted towards growing the organization even faster. We've had great growth in transactions and revenue year on year. Feel free to take a photo of this and reach out to me. Hitchpin has partnered with folks up and down the supply chain. And here's an example of Hitchpin storefronts that allow producers to create their own storefront and their own URL in a matter of about 5 minutes. So we move really fast, and we're absolutely interested in partnership with folks around ReFED. Thank you very much.
That's great. Let's jump right into the questions because I want to be able to get to a few. That map with all those users across the country, Trevor, is super impressive. 63,000. How have you gotten so much traction? Because it seems like so many times with farmers, the conversations are oftentimes in the coffee shops about new tools. How are you letting people know or getting people to know about this?
It's a great question. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. It's kind of an out-of-body experience to watch yourself present and then do Q&A. But I really, when I first visited with Lily, the idea of reducing food waste, it felt like an immediate fit. And this concept of if we're building technologies that can actually help reduce that, why wouldn't we offer that out for food waste? So to answer your question directly, we have producers these are actually pretty technologically savvy. Like you said, the conversation happens at the coffee shop, but if something works, they also tell their buddies at the coffee shop. And we've spent an enormous amount of time out in the field visiting with producers. We've tons of events, tons of other sort of really hands-on interaction. We've had great success with social media, interestingly enough, because right now there's really no great clearinghouse for producers. There's no great place to sort of connect on buying and selling. And so they're actively looking for alternatives. And we've had a lot of success with people finding us on social media and going, hey, why didn't this technology exist 5 years ago when we were really needing something like this, like even back then? So it's been all channels to answer your question. And it's always that's one of the reasons I appreciate having a chance to be at an event like this is we're always trying to get that in front of other producers and just make them aware that these technologies exist.
You mentioned that it immediately resonated with you when Lily mentioned this idea. And so when you thought about that and how did you think about, and how do you think about your marketplace helping farmers and people in ag become more efficient and ultimately reduce less food waste? How do you make that connection?
Yeah, I'll give you a tangible example of this. So, the drought this year in the West, up until the sort of latest rains in California, but the really severe drought kind of center part of the country west has been devastating for a lot of folks. And so it's interesting because this year we have moved a lot of feed from the east to the west. So producers in the west that were really desperate for feed, we've had the opportunity to connect them with folks in the east that have had it. And to give you an example, I was out there several months ago, and there was a field, and it had just you could tell the hay had been there for probably 5 years, and it's sort of rotting and in really in bad shape. And I just kept thinking, what a terrible waste, right? I mean, there are people in this area that are, their livestock are like right on the edge. And because of inefficiencies in the marketplace, people didn't know that existed, and it was a wasted resource. And so anytime you can take that kind of waste out, I think everybody benefits from it. And we're seeing those tangible things right now.
We have a couple questions from the audience I want to get to. Jim asks, have you ever considered connecting farmers to food rescue organizations as part of your platform?
I love that idea. And in fact, there's a whole on our roadmap. There's a whole section dedicated to that. At first, when you're thinking of connecting buyers and sellers, you think, okay, we're making this process more efficient. But if we've got that platform, if we've got those players, why wouldn't we automatically start connecting those food banks and other participants in? I mean, that just seems like a logical thing to do when you've got the technology to make those connections. So absolutely on our roadmap, and as we expand our supply and some of those things that food banks are interested in, I'm excited to do those partnerships.
Great. Kingsley is asking a couple questions. Jess, are you matching international traders, and how are you solving the problem of losses in transit? Is that an area that you'd be open to outside help on?
I love it. The answer is yes. We are always interested in logistics. When you think about marketplaces in food production, it's not like we're selling USB cables on Amazon. There's a lot of logistics. There's bulk movement of things. It's actually one of the most complicated parts of our business, is how do you not only connect the buyer and seller, then also be able to transport the goods. So absolutely interested in those sorts of things. As far as the international side of this, we have a huge amount of interest in that. And I'll, just at kind of a high level where we're going, the focus has been on the US now, but as we think about the containerization of a lot of these ag products and the ability to go from a producer in Montana to a buyer in Singapore or in Dubai, all that stuff is possible. And you need the intermodal facilities to do that, but you also need the digital clearinghouse to connect those buyers and sellers directly. And that second part is exactly where Hitchpin is pointed towards, this sort of international connections.
Man, Trevor, I'd like to sit here and talk to you for another hour, because this is fascinating to me.
Thank you.
But we are running a tight ship today, so we will make sure that everyone can connect with you afterwards and find out more about you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I'm looking forward to following Hitchpin on your journey.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have Julie DeGennaro, the Senior Sales and Marketing Manager at Store Cold, the maker of CoolBot, which is a microcontroller, and when hooked up to a window air conditioner, it can transform a room into a well-insulated refrigerator. It allows the room to cool down to refrigeration temperatures, effectively allowing you to build a walk-in cooler. Welcome, Julie. Julia, I apologize, Julia. Let's play the video.
Hi there, my name's Julia DeGennaro. I am the Senior Sales and Marketing Manager at Store Cold, and we are the proud manufacturer of the revolutionary CoolBot. Back in 2006, Ron Kosla created the CoolBot. He was a small-scale farmer in upstate New York. He needed a walk-in cooler but could not afford a walk-in cooler, and thought the answer might lie in harnessing the power of a window AC. Through a lot of trial, the CoolBot was born. Patricia Parsons was friends with Ron, and she really encouraged him to continue manufacturing the CoolBot after his first run. She just retired up until January. She was still on the phones with our customer support team, helping troubleshoot, helping customers with their cooler builds, and we miss her tremendously. Currently, our team is made up of Brian Murphy, our CEO, John Berger, our VP of Sales and Marketing, Freddie Ramelina, our Operations Manager, and myself. Our customer support team is 4 members strong and the backbone of our company. So what is the CoolBot? The CoolBot is a microcontroller that allows you to cool a well-insulated room down to refrigeration temperatures using a window air conditioner or mini split air conditioner. So by building your own walk-in cooler, you can save thousands of dollars on upfront cost and on maintenance on the back end. And this is a solution that's perfect for farmers, florists, brewers, hunters, mortuary, wine and cheese enthusiasts, and really anyone who needs affordable cold storage. And it's our product intro video for the CoolBot Pro.
Since 2006, the CoolBot has been providing economical cold storage to over 50,000 customers. Our new Wi-Fi enabled CoolBot Pro is taking cold storage to the next level with interactive capability and the user-friendly CoolBot app. Enjoy the benefits of the original CoolBot, now with mobile alerts, temperature reading, settings, and interactive control over Wi-Fi with the ability to monitor your unit from any internet connection. The Wi-Fi enabled CoolBot Pro transforms a window or mini split air conditioner into a revolutionary cooling system, saving you thousands.
The new CoolBot Pro app, awesome. I can be anywhere and look and see what the temperature is here inside my cooler, make adjustments on the fly, whatever I need. Awesome stuff.
Farmers, florists, hunters, and cheese, wine, and brewing enthusiasts can build, remotely monitor, and control their walk-in coolers from any internet connection. Business owners and do-it-yourselfers now have peace of mind and save money with the CoolBot Pro's efficient, convenient, and affordable cold storage.
One of my favorite things about the CoolBot is the fact that it'll send me notifications if anything goes wrong. Whether I'm on the go or I'm on vacation with my family, if it all of a sudden starts to overheat or I have a power outage, I'm able to get a notification that allows me to make a quick phone call and make sure that the product inside stays cool.
No Wi-Fi? No problem. Operate your CoolBot manually with our easy-to-use digital display. We now offer a turnkey walk-in cooler featuring the patented CoolBot Pro technology. Interactive, affordable, and efficient cold storage has never been easier thanks to the new Wi-Fi enabled CoolBot Pro. Learn more at storeitcold.com. Get connected, stay cool.
All right, and for traction, I know that video said that we've sold 50,000. As of today, we have sold over 90,000 CoolBots and CoolBot Pros. We've shipped to customers in over 70 different countries, continuing to work with our kind of core base with farmers, florists, brewers, mortuaries, food banks, other small businesses. And we've continued to do work with USAID and UC Davis. And please feel free to reach out with additional questions. Thank you so much.
Julia, that's great. You guys are getting amazing traction. 90,000 or so users is pretty impressive. And it's great to see how this is essentially democratizing access to cold storage on places like farms. So tell me, how does a farmer get this going? Do they just need like a room or a trailer? I mean, what is the typical setup?
Yeah, should you find yourself needing cold storage, you can outfit a mobile cooler by insulating a mobile cooler and getting that on the road. Or if you have a shed or a room that you're able to insulate, you can insulate that. We're looking for you to get to at least R25, which is standard for a traditional walk-in cooler. Size your AC correctly. All that information's on our website. We've got building guides and such, and hook up a CoolBot and we'll get you down to refrigeration temperatures. And as they said in my
Roland asked kind of what I was thinking, like what is the typical cost to get going with one of these, and comparing that to like buying a new cold storage refrigeration unit? Yeah,
so the controller itself, the CoolBot, is going to be $349. The CoolBot Pro is $419. Obviously, AC costs vary. And overall, once you take all the insulation and materials to build that cooler, customers see about this, they are saving thousands of dollars compared to a traditional walk-in cooler on that build.
And you guys have a turnkey unit now, right? So essentially, if someone doesn't have it,
Yeah, a couple years ago, we went out to our existing customer base and said, hey, what do you like? What don't you like about your CoolBot? And a resounding amount of customers came back and said that they loved their CoolBot, but they did not want to build another one again. That is quite a bit of work, you know, a lot of trips to the hardware store. So with that, we partnered with a manufacturer of walk-in cooler panels, and we are now able to ship you panels, the AC, and controller, and have that delivered to you. So you've got a turnkey unit. With that said, the DIY route is the most economical. And on our website, we've got additional information. We built our own shed style cooler at our office, and we've got our bill of materials and costs listed there.
And to be clear, this is a cooler. You couldn't make one of these into a freezer, right?
Correct. We don't want to maintain freezing temperatures. If the AC is freezing up, that's a problem. So, I'm not familiar with any kind of DIY freezing options. So this is just refrigeration temperatures.
I want to get to some questions from the audience. Someone asked, is the CoolBot able to be used in commercial kitchens?
In commercial kitchens, it kind of depends. So the CoolBot does have some limitations. You just noted one. We don't have the ability to freeze. The CoolBot with the AC performs best if you have less than 6 door openings an hour, so 1 every 10 minutes. So for a primary cooler, if people are in and out lots, a traditional compressor may be a better solution. If you're looking for a backup cooler, something that's going to be storing your bulk items that's not accessed nearly as much as a primary cooler, it may be a great solution.
And you mentioned food banks are using CoolBots. Can you give some examples?
Yeah, we have partnered with Food Bank of New York. They have retrofitted 2 mobile coolers,
Very cool.
and they are looking on retrofitting a couple more. They like the mobile solution because they can take in extra product when that call comes, and they can also get it to other distribution sites when needed, because they don't always need that additional refrigeration. So to have it on standby is a tremendous asset to them.
The questions are flying and people are just fascinated with this. One person asked, can the CoolBot be used to pre-cool post-harvest produce or primarily just for cold storage?
You can go ahead and, most farmers do store all of their harvest post-harvest in the cooler.
Got it. I love this last question here, and that'll be the last question because we want to make sure we're running out of time. So people, I think we'll have more questions for you, Julia, if you want to catch up with them via the chat. But this is a great question. Have you considered mobile CoolBots that could be deployed just as needed to keep surplus cold enough until the product can be sold, like an Uber CoolBot?
Because we are not renting out any of our any things like a turnkey unit or a mobile unit, we're helping people get access to them. We're not deploying those. However, we do have a partner he is in North Carolina, who is making, he's doing the retrofits for mobile coolers. So again, if you don't have time to build one, you can reach out to our partner and he can go ahead and retrofit a unit for you.
This has been great, and I'm sure people are going to want to follow up with you and learn more about what you guys are building. Thank you so much, Julia, for giving us a little more information on what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to spread the word about the CoolBot.
Awesome. Next up, I'm excited to welcome Catherine Sizov, the CEO and co-founder of Strela Biotechnology. Strela predicts the shelf life of produce using sensor technology and helps the supply chain make smarter decisions about perishable inventory. To date, they've monitored over 2 billion pieces of fruit and have helped apple, pear, and banana suppliers and retailers reduce food waste through better decision making. Let's get the Strela demo video going, then we'll bring Catherine to the stage.
Hi, my name is Catherine. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Strela. We're a team of about 17 produce nerds. So we're a combination of post-harvest physiologists, electrochemists, molecular biologists, and folks in the food industry that have gone together to work on reducing the food waste problem. We've partnered with a number of amazing VCs, including Google Ventures, Rich Products Ventures, Yamaha, and Mark Cuban to help us in this journey. So the reason that we believe food waste happens is twofold. First of all, there's very little data in the supply chain. So for example, we know of growers that can drive down the orchard in their F-150 and tell when their fruit is ready to be picked. But that information can't be transferred to a Target or a Walmart, for example. And so as a result, it's not quantifiable and it can't be translated. And the second piece is that supply chain segments are siloed. So once something is passed down to the next player in the supply chain, there's no transparency or communication. So what we aim to be is we aim to be the guardian angels for produce, produce being one of the bigger problems when it comes to food waste. And we're looking to do that by providing quantifiable data to folks within the supply chain so that they can make smarter decisions. So the way that we do that is we use shelf life data. So we basically can predict the maturity of produce, and then we use that information to help a supplier, a distributor, a retailer make a better decision about how they're moving their inventory based on perishability. So the way that we do that is we have a sensor. This is the sensor that we currently use that we put in various segments in the supply chain. And what this sensor can do is it can measure the maturity of produce. And the way that it does that is by measuring gas emissions that produce emit as they're ripening, namely ethylene. And we've developed a way to intercept those communications between fruits and vegetables in a very specific way so that we can tell how ripe the fruit is. And then we use that information to help the customer. So we started in the apple industry helping suppliers. So fun fact, an apple in a grocery store can be over a year old. And that's because it's stored in these massive storage rooms for a really long time. And a typical supplier has hundreds of these storage rooms, each filled with millions of pieces of fruit. And they're kind of playing a guessing game of behind which door is the most ripe apple. Instead of using intuition and instead of using a very small sample size, our sensors can tell the supplier 2 months in advance of the apples going to go bad that they're going to do so, which allows the supplier to send the product down the supply chain before it actually changes in quality. After that, we've decided to take that same information that we've collected. So we've been sitting with the fruit for 6 to 8 to 10 months before it gets to a Target or a Walmart and say, well, how can we use that information to help the next person in the supply chain? And so what we do is we, one, manage the inventory on the supply side on behalf of the retailer. So we make sure that nothing coming into the retailer is going to be of the wrong quality. And secondarily, what we do is we help retailers reorganize their supply chain within their distribution center. So basically what we do is we reorganize inventory from first in, first out to first expiry, first out within distribution centers. And we've been able to go pretty far. We work with a very significant majority of the US apple and pear market. We've recently started expanding globally with a partner. We've monitored over 2 billion pieces of fruit to date. And on our retail product, we're able to reduce shrink by about 50%, both in the DC and on the store shelf. And we're also able to improve the quality of the fruit on the store shelf by about 5 times, which we find to be extremely important when thinking about consumer preferences, loyalty, and improved basket sizes on the grocery side. We've raised around $11.5 million to date. Our last round was an $8 million Series A, and we'll be going out for Series B in a few months' time. We'd love to hear from you, hear from your experiences, get connected to anyone that you think might be a good fit for us. Please feel free to reach out to me or get involved on our socials. Thank you so much.
Great. Let's welcome Catherine to the stage. Catherine, it's been so fun. I remember talking to you early on in your early days and watching you grow. I mean, 2 billion pieces of fruit is an amazing metric. So I love this technology, by the way, just this idea of detecting gases emitted. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how does this work? And, are the gases the same for an apple versus a banana? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've all seen this happening on our bench tops or countertops. So if you put an unripe banana next to a ripe one, you see that it ripens a lot faster than if it was by itself. And this is because produce emits gases. They talk to each other basically as they're ripening so that they all ripen at the same time. And what we've done is we figured out a way to intercept those communications between fruits and veggies to figure out what they're telling us about their maturity. So a lot of them operate in a very similar fashion, but basically the amplitude of the signals or the speed of the signals are a little bit different. So basically we have the same piece of hardware, the same sensor, but we have a different piece of software for each produce item.
That's great. And how does a farmer or a warehouse go about implementing this? Do they self-install? Do you send out a team of people to help implement this? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think this was touched on by another speaker. This industry is a fairly hands-on one, and a lot of business is done face-to-face. So we like to take advantage of the opportunity to go and meet our customers in person when we do have the chance to do so. But in other cases, we certainly can work with the customer to have them install all by themselves.
You mentioned that you handle the inbound inventory supply on behalf of the retailers. Is this only from produce coming from Strela equipped farmers or warehouses?
That's right. Yeah, we need to be working hand in hand with the supplier and also be in partnership with the supplier in order for us to work with a retailer and help them out. And that's not only for execution purposes, but also because we want to be equitable to every player within the supply chain.
You mentioned apples were your starting point, and you're working with bananas. Are there other fruits you're working with? If not, what's next on the roadmap?
Next one is definitely avocados. So our banana product that affects banana ripening and basically creates a more consistent ripening process is surely applied to avocados. I mean, we can all feel the pain of going to the grocery store and getting an avocado that's either way too hard or way too mushy. So that's definitely our next step.
Great choice. I love that. Let's get to some audience questions from Jen. Is there a primary driver for determining the cutoff point for shelf life? I like safety, appearance, marketability.
Yeah, there's a couple things. So on the post-harvest side, there's things like pressures, starches, sugars that are important when you're looking at the criteria for accepting or rejecting fruit. So those are usually the ones that we hold ourselves to. And then on the sales side, on the top line side, things like color are really important. So in bananas, for example, a yellow banana sells a lot more than a green banana. And so those are the indicators that we look at when we're measuring our ROI for our customers.
Roland asks, how does gas emission relate to nutrition? That is, can you tell when, for example, nutrition value is gone from a piece of produce?
That's a fantastic question. Honestly, I don't think we have the body of knowledge to be able to say something like that, but that's certainly some research that does need to be done. There's a lot of things that you can do when you can kind of map out the life cycle of a fruit or vegetable. And so we're definitely interested in that question too. It's a great one.
I also want to know, how does or doesn't this solution integrate with a retailer's procurement process?
Yeah, so generally speaking, what we do is we work with the buyers and the produce department at a retailer to pick a partner, a supplier partner, who is willing to share maturity data with us. And then we use that information to basically send the right pallets of apples, for example, to the retailer to help reduce their QC load. Also ensure that there aren't going to be rejections. And then on top of that, also help the retailer redistribute their inventory at the distribution center level.
This is interesting. Ruth asks, do things like pesticides or preservatives affect the technology or its ability to read the signals?
So no, a lot of our IP is based around working with a lot of different, coatings, pesticides, fungicides, etc. However, you can tell based on the way that the produce item evolves. So you can tell if something is treated with a coating, for example. So we are able to parse that out, but we're fairly agnostic to treatments.
This is one last question I was wondering about. When you deploy this in a warehouse, do you have them located throughout the warehouse? Like, what is kind of the ability to sense gases that reach of each sensor essentially?
Yeah, so basically, and it's not one-to-one on sensors, but basically what we do is we follow the decision point. So for example, if you're a supplier, you're opening whole rooms full of apples. And so you want to know which room is the most mature. And so that's the level of resolution that we give. If you're a retailer, we bring it down to the lot level because the retailer is making decisions on certain lots of pallets. So we follow the decision point for our customer at each segment.
This is great. Fascinating technology. And I could keep talking forever on this. So Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your time and telling us more about Strela.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
All right. Talk to you soon. All right. Last but not least, we have Christine Mosley, the CEO and founder of Full Harvest. Christine is a seasoned entrepreneur on a mission to combat food waste. And as the leading B2B produce marketplace, Full Harvest connects food and beverage companies directly with farmers to purchase supply and imperfect produce. Let's get the video rolling and then we'll bring Christine on to talk more.
Hello, my name is Christine Mosley. I'm the founder and CEO of Full Harvest based in San Francisco. At Full Harvest, we are solving the massive food waste problem specifically at the farm level with the first end-to-end business-to-business marketplace specializing in surplus and imperfect produce. Over the last 7 years, we have solved this problem by bringing together a world-class team across tech, ag, and marketplace expertise, as well as bringing together a perfect combination of investors and board across ag, marketplace, and impact. Our solution is a marketplace connecting farmers directly to produce buyers to more efficiently and cost-effectively and sustainably purchase their produce. With that, I'll share a video with a little bit more on our company. Food waste has been found to be one of the biggest contributors to climate change, even over cars and cows. On-farm food loss means that perfectly edible food does not leave the farm simply because it is surplus or not perfectly shaped for retail stores. The Full Harvest Marketplace connects farms directly to produce buyers to make the buying and selling of produce faster, easier, more transparent, data-driven, and more sustainable. At scale, we can help solve not only climate change, but health, nutrition, resource management, and efficiency. The produce industry is currently a $1 trillion industry, up to 96% offline. And by digitizing the produce supply chain, we can make the whole produce industry more efficient, and truly it is a win-win for all parties. Our expertise and focus on medium to large farms and medium to large businesses to start has allowed us to make the biggest impact possible. And to date, we have worked with some of the largest farms and food and beverage companies in the world, helping them to save time, money, and source more sustainably. To date, we have sold over 75 million pounds of surplus and imperfect produce, which equates to over 2 billion gallons of water saved and over 9 million kgs of CO2 emissions saved from our verified rescued produce line. On top of that, we have built industry-leading technology features on our marketplace that have been built for the first time ever, automating end-to-end the supply chain. Last year, we closed our Series B of over $21 million and also completed our first acquisition of Farmers Web to leapfrog some of our technology capabilities, especially on the farmer side, including inventory management. Due to our unique focus on solving on-farm food loss, which is the largest portion of the food waste problem, we have gotten quite a bit of press, including being on the cover of Newsweek this month. With that, I look forward to your questions.
Great. Let's welcome Christine onto the stage. Congratulations, by the way, for getting on the cover of Newsweek. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
One thing I want to ask you about is the recent expansion of full harvest into USDA grade 1 produce. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We have built our business the last 7 years on being experts on surplus and imperfect produce, and we will always be thought leaders and experts on this, helping companies build more sustainable products around that scalable supply chain that has integrity, because we can actually, as one of the first companies ever, verify when a product would have actually gone to waste or not due to our innovation with farms and our transparency along the supply chain. And what we realized is that, our true vision is a world with 100% full harvest, where everything that's edible goes towards consumption. And to do that faster, we can solve it with, if we scale to the whole market, to have more data and more transparency and efficiency within the whole market, because our buyers buy all grades of produce and our suppliers sell all grades of produce. And so to solve that efficiency problem at scale, we can leverage our technology for the whole market, which is the $1 trillion business opportunity. And by going after that, we actually can find that unique win-win-win of a massive company doing massive impact, and doing it even faster.
And in a way, wasn't it somewhat market driven in that your customers hold you in that direction, because you guys are one of the key tools they're using for procurement?
Yes, definitely. It's a great point. We did have, over the last several years, our suppliers and buyers want to do more and more business with us. And so that also just validated our expansion plans that we've had for several years.
And I would imagine you're pretty well integrated with manufacturers, CPGs, existing supply chain technology via, so they can just plug you in. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, currently we are as simple to use anywhere on your mobile device or your desktop as a mobile responsive website, just like going on to Amazon.com. So anybody at any time can easily go on that. We're also in the process of launching our mobile app. And we absolutely have some internal integrations with technology, like logistics technology, to automate logistics solutions, as well as online payments. But our next big thing is going to be integration with bigger technologies on either side, just to make our buyers and suppliers' jobs even easier by that automatic integration.
And for people who are not insiders to this industry, they hear you're a marketplace for imperfect produce. So, but can you explain the difference between you, for example, you guys Full Harvest, and a company like Imperfect Foods, for someone who may not know really this industry very well?
Sure. We started around the same time. Imperfect Foods was last year purchased by Misfits, so it's one big company now. They're in the process of that integration. And they focused specifically on business to consumer, and we focused specifically on business to business. Due to my experience within the food industries, I saw the big opportunity and view that as a critically needed solution, but also one of the biggest business opportunities. So their work is fantastic, but could not be more different in terms of our execution. They're very much a produce and now CPG, almost like a direct to consumer retailer, essentially, of food that is sustainable. And we are purely a technology company. We don't own assets, and we are upstream. And so the way to think about it is almost they're sort of like the car and we're the gas tank. We can, or the gas pump, we can actually fuel companies like them and, similar, but we can do that with a ton of different types of companies, as this digitizing the supply chain for anybody.
Yeah, they could be a customer of yours.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We have some questions from the audience. Roland asks, can you help farmers whose produce cannot be sold due to poor or reduced pricing, thus making their harvesting more profitable?
Can we help farmers? I missed one of the words you said. Can you help farmers? Can
you help farmers whose produce cannot be sold due to poor or reduced pricing, thus making their harvesting not profitable?
So meaning, can we help them with the pricing issue? or just can we help them sell product that they can't sell?
Yeah, I would imagine because, you know, they're because of the pricing has been reduced. Would you be a channel through which they can actually turn this to be a more of a profitable business?
Absolutely. That's one of our expertises. We are experts on surplus and imperfect, and surplus usually is something where they have so much of it that the price has dropped in some way, shape, or form. And because of that, we have hot buys, we have marketing campaigns, targeted emails, trying to sell that as much and as fast as possible. The way to view us is almost like a free sales force for our buyers or for our suppliers, as well as a free, procurement tool for our buyers. And that's why they love us, is it's almost a no-brainer that we're solving big pain points for free for each side.
I love that, a free sales force. Here's another question. Do you help the grower measure what's left in the field after the last harvest?
We have future plans of integrating with other solutions to help leverage that data and information, because the more data we have, the more we can help suppliers sell everything that they have. But the way to think about it is we are collecting data that no one else has. We just hit 1 billion pounds posted on our marketplace. And so that's data that is down to, the spec, the pricing, the availability that most people have not been measuring in terms of what farmers could sell if they actually tried. And so with that, we are collecting that information and then soon hope to expand to have on-field partnerships to help them understand better as well. But our team does empower with the data farmers to innovate and capture product that they currently were wasting, because we have the data of what buyers would purchase if they knew there was supply. And so that's led into our verified rescued line, where because of that innovation with growers, we absolutely know that it would have gone to waste. And we can put ESG claims around that for the companies that we work with.
Real quickly, last question. You guys have quite a few big wins and key relationships with CPG brands. Are there any you want to highlight, like Danone? Because I know that you have the Too Good yogurt line from them.
Yeah. So we had several big companies about 3 years ago come to us and say that they really wanted to create a sustainable product leveraging produce and, have messaging around reducing food waste, and that we were the only company they could find globally to actually help them create a scalable, sustainable supply chain with integrity around it. And so we actually helped them create a line extension for their Too Good brand called Too Good Good Save. And it has now become their #1 sellers. And so because of that, we're going to be doing even more. And we, at the same time, launched snacks with Mondelez and have several other things in the works that we can't yet share. But we view us again as the gas pump or the, fuel behind empowering the food system to change to have more upcycled and rescued products with that.
What a success story. That's great. They're #1 line. Congratulations. And Christine, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about Full Harvest.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lily, I'm going to hand this back to you. This has been a lot of fun, but I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mike. Awesome group of presenters today. Thank you so much to everyone for joining and for speakers for sharing their time with us. Quickly, before you do head out, we'll go ahead and launch a short poll just to see how we did today and how we can improve in the future. And I also have a couple of events and opportunities to share with you. So there are still a few spots open at our annual in-person Food Waste Solutions Summit that we host, that ReFED hosts. So this year we'll be bringing the party to St. Louis, Missouri, and would love to see folks on the line today there. I may be a little bit biased, but it's absolutely one of my favorite conferences to attend. There's so many good connections that I make every year, super fun field trips, awesome speakers, and of course, incredible food. So yeah, you can go ahead and check out the website that Alejandro just sent through with the speaker lineup and find out more. And then, as we mentioned at the top of the event, today's event was co-hosted by ReFED's Food Waste Action Network and Spoon, Mike's company. The Spoon has a Pitch Fest Friday event coming up on April 14th. as focused specifically on food waste reduction. So we'll go ahead and share that link in the chat to register. And then finally, just a quick plug for ReFED's Food Waste Action Network. If you're not already a part of this network, it's a really great place to find out more about events like this, learn about networking opportunities, and then access a brand new Slack workspace that we have. So really great communication between folks and a way to meet new people in the space. So you can go ahead and explore that opportunity or sign up using the link that Alejandra just sent through. And I think that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and leave this slide up as well as the chat, just so you can grab any of the links that we sent through today. I know we sent through a lot. So thanks again so much, everyone, for joining, for speaking. Huge thank you to you, Mike, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day.
Bye.